What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. Thanks for meeting with me here.
Yeah, sorry I'm a little late.
Oh, no, you're fine. I just have a couple questions for this interview. I got to keep it short. I already have um pretty much all of it. But to start, I understand you used to be an urban planner.
hmm
Okay, cool. Well, what kind of experience do you have urban planning?
So I worked. Pause the interview while I let my dog out. All right, sorry. So I my urban planning experience centers around mostly community development, which is kind of like a specialty within urban planning.
Okay.
Um, you have to have like a very wide brush approach to all sorts of different issues in the community, but you have to have a very deep rooted sense of all the larger urban issues. Um, but I worked for 2 years for a place called East West Gateway, which is a regional planning, metropolitan planning organization. They have one of those in like the largest 25 metro regions in the United States, and the primary function is to get federal money and use it for mostly transportation projects, but then they also use it for other infrastructure projects, community development projects, things like that. I did research in their research department for 2 years there. And then I spent 7 years working in the Grove neighborhood, working for 2 years for WashU Med Center Redevelopment Corporations, and then almost 5 years for a place called Park Central Development. Um, but yeah, so I'd say that my passion in urban planning really centered around working in commercial districts in areas that were either revitalized or in need of revitalization. So at my projects in at Park Central Development centered around working with business owners in the Grove, Central West End, and Bevo Mill neighborhood.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, so my project, it's about sustainability in the urban world. In your experience, I don't know if you'll be able to answer this. What are some ways that cities and urban areas are not sustainable?
Not sustainable.
Yeah.
I think, I mean, the most obvious one to me is just our autocentric nature,
Hmm.
are the way that we currently are developed and the way that we continue to build developments. They're still by and large catered towards cars. And until we get to an electric vehicle world, we're not going to be ever sustainable. Um, More cars means more roads, means more garages, means more space that's just dedicated. And then the more cars that take up more space means that you're most likely more sprawled out, spread out, which only exacerbates the need for a car. Um, I think we're also not sustainable in yeah, like our the way we house ourselves. Most people in more sustainable European countries live in multifamily housing, apartments, condos. They're dense, which ergo density means walkability, means less cars. So yeah, it's just kind of like a cycle. It's a never ending cycle. The farther out we build, the more need for cars. And then the farther out you build, the less likely it's going to be have multifamily housing.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. Two of the things I focused on throughout my project were things like farmers markets and like community gardens and stuff like that. Other than those things, and you can touch on those things too, what are some good ways you think we could work towards solving the sustainability issue, like urban areas more sustainable?
Yeah, I think that locally produced food that you know where it came from, that's one of the key pieces of the puzzle, because obviously anytime that food's produced somewhere else, it has to get onto a van or a train or a barge or a ship. And so that's most likely burning fuel. It also obviously from an an environmentally sustainable practice. It helps the environment, but also um, economically and culturally sustainable, giving people more connection to the land around them. So that's awesome. Farmers markets are great, great thing. And then it also creates a sense of community too. People meet each other and all that. Um, Another way for me thinking how to improve sustainability on a very obvious in a very obvious way is just the transportation network, providing safer and better infrastructure for people to walk and bike to and from places. So finding those places that destinations that people really want to go to, whether it's school or the grocery store or a park, and making sure that there are at least one or two solid routes that are safe for people to bike or walk, or people that are in wheelchairs or people with strollers. That was a huge passion of mine in my work as well. I personally like biking. There's health benefits. Um, there's proven environmental benefits, but then there's also proven economic benefits. There's all these studies that say if there's um, greenways or bike routes along certain properties, those properties actually see an increase in value. So yeah, to me, that's a huge way to improve sustainability and health.
Very cool.